Everyone, today I have great pleasure to introduce our new member, Chazzly from Ontario, Canada. Hi, Chazzly, it's a great pleasure to have you in our show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So please share a little bit more about background before you become an artist.
The beginning is probably pretty similar to a lot of other artists. When I was a little kid, I loved to draw. At around 12, I started to be able to draw somewhat well. Like I was doing life sketches, so I would have someone sit for me and I would try to sketch what I saw. And for the most part, like, I could make it look fairly accurate. Also, I should mention, I was around art a lot growing up. My stepdad is an antique auctioneer. So our house was filled with like old classical art. In fact, the whole walls from the floor to the ceiling was filled with old paintings. But yeah, so anyway, so I was sketching quite a bit and trying to sketch portraits and basically just anything I could see, because this is sort of I mean, there was internet, but there wasn't like you could just go on Pinterest and find a photograph and draw from that. Like, so you could either draw from a magazine or you would just draw from what you saw in your environment. But unfortunately, art class was not teaching you drawing skills or how to draw anything realistic. It was very much focused on graphic design and comic books and like cartoons, and that was every art project that I had in middle school, and I failed it because, you know, I'm kind of like a messy drawer or painter. So I kind of like, I couldn't really draw in the lines, and I think I found it just terribly boring. So I think it really like kind of had an effect on my self-esteem as an artist. And I kind of thought, well, like I felt like the label that I wasn't good at art was kind of put on me. So I didn't really pursue it much after middle school. I put it aside for a good while because, so like, I guess a backstory is that, like, you know, I was bullied pretty bad in elementary school and middle school. So when I got to high school, I was not making the best choices and sort of like getting into the wrong crowd of people. So during that time, you know, like the thought of drawing was just, you know, I really believed that I wasn't good at anything because I was failing school. Yeah. So basically I took a pretty long hiatus from drawing and pursuing art. And it wasn't until I had a baby really young that just sort of totally changed my life and totally changed my view of the world, and most importantly, like my view of myself. And I saw him sleeping, and I decided I'm going to just draw him and just see what happens. And it actually turned out okay, and it looked like him. So it planted the seeds of drawing, and I was like, wow, like, you know, maybe I could be good at something. You know, maybe I could like keep pursuing this. When you become a mom, it's such hard work. And I think especially when you're young and you become a mom, there's a lot of barriers that are put in place. And that hard work and that tenacity that you need to care for another human being really taught me the skills of being able to actually sit down and finish a drawing and like do something that's really hard, because drawing and painting is actually really, really hard. So once I finished that drawing, I thought it'd be cool if I could make it in color. You know, like, wouldn't it be cool if I could paint it? So with very little money that I had, I bought red. I bought cadmium red oil paint, ultramarine blue, and cadmium yellow, and raw umber. And with those 4 colors, I tried to teach myself how to paint in oils. I didn't have any canvas. I couldn't afford to buy a canvas. So I was using old cardboard boxes, cutting it out, and I would do, the full drawing, and then I would try to, paint what I saw. And there was a lot of ugly paintings that came out of it. But some of them were like kind of okay. So, like that's kind of where my, I guess, love for painting started. It was inspired probably by just totally flipping my life around, inspired by like the love of my son.
Yeah. Something which changed your life so much, like a new baby born, and inspire you, even if it's hard, not only for the young mom, but I think for women generally, it's very life-changing situation. But anyway, you cannot escape from art. That's the point of I think of what you just described. So how
for sure, like it was always in the back of my mind a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like I kind of, even in high school when I was more interested in being bad. Mm-hmm. I still, when I would see someone drawing, I still knew in the back of my mind, like, I think I can do that. And I really love it, but I'm just an idiot, so I'm not going to try. Mm-hmm. So it was like this sort of, there was a little voice, but it was drowned by what I thought and what I viewed of myself. Mm-hmm. And so being a mother, really, the biggest thing is it changed how I viewed myself. And it changed every aspect of my life. Like it made me want to be a healthier person, a better person, a kinder person, and do something interesting. Try actually something.
Yeah, and usually first change is you are not the center of the universe anymore. It's somebody
that
else.
Too. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it totally changes your view of the world and what it means to love someone. Yeah.
Totally,
sure.
totally.
So I have him to thank. He's now almost 14, so
yeah.
But it seems to have the overarching theme of love and suffering and hardship and the silver lining, for sure. Like that seems to be like the overarching theme of each one of them. But each one has a very specific story, and sometimes it's not like the inspiration just comes to me like after an experience. Sometimes it just like, I don't know, it just comes in my head. Like the idea, it just explodes in my head. And then I'm like, okay, I have to paint this. And then sometimes later on, I figure out what it really is about. And sort of the words and the meaning comes as I'm working on the painting.
I can see like what you want to say, but at the same time, there is a story behind which only you probably know. So can you share some of your favorite pictures you made so far and share with us some of the stories?
Sure. So that painting is called There for the Storm. So it's about empathy. It's about when someone comes to you who's suffering and who's in a lot of pain, and how, I called it There for the Storm because it's sort of like this storm that this person's in, and you have to be brave enough to sort of take on that storm. But sometimes some people are so uncomfortable with that pain and suffering that person's in that they very quickly try to be like, it's okay, it's not so bad, don't worry, everything's fine. And like, I think that leaves a person feeling pretty unheard and not understood. Mm-hmm. and they're not really able to move through it. They just sort of like are like, okay, yeah, I guess I'll just be fine then. So I made it like, there's like the storm behind her, and that's what she's feeling. And I made her nude, um, to show like her vulnerability, that it's really vulnerable for someone to come and like share what they're going through. And then I made the other person, who is the listener, also nude, because it takes a total vulnerability for the other person to put their agenda aside and really be there for the person who's suffering. So that's why I called it There for the Storm. So that's what the symbolism of that is. And she has the rainbow halo, which she's sort of like an angel, or like, like an angel that lives here on earth to, like who's there to like help that person. Yeah. So that's what the rainbow halos are for in all my paintings. Sort of like represents, like, I guess it kind of has like its basis in like religious art, where that's like the saint or angel or something like that. Yeah.
You mentioned also before you have some community. So how that works? Do you feel that you also can help people, heal people on some way? Please share more about that. Yeah.
Like it just like I just make this work, and a lot of it is a self-interest. Like, this thing comes in my head, and it's like diarrhea. Like I just needs to come out. Like, so, I think some people look at my work and they just see a nude woman, and just some people just don't understand it. They're like, well, why would there be wings on this lady? That's so weird. And why is it flying through the sky? And, so I guess if you're really open to it, like it could have the possibility of giving someone a feeling, but maybe only for a fleeting moment. Like I have another job. My day job is taking care of people with disabilities. And I think that job is just like so much more powerful. And like the people that work there, they're like totally angels. And like the love that they have for them, and they're never going to get recognized. Like those people are never going to have an interview or have an Instagram or anything like that. But I think that that's where the real power lies, is just like the little things, like the nice lady at the grocery store who like took the time to talk to someone, or like, the selfless act of caring for someone who really needs it. I think I have that freedom because I don't have gallery representation. I mostly just make, like, when I make money off my art, it's commissions. So my original work, although it's for sale, if anyone wants to buy it, that would be great. But, it's very much like for me. So, because I have that freedom, I get to sort of shut those voices off. And also, there is less people who like it. So, you can't please them all.
And about your community and maybe some of your activities in the next, by the end of this year and next year, do you have something you would like to share with us?
Yeah, so, I'm working on my collection. I have about 15 painting ideas that are just like kind of fully finished in my mind. And I've started writing poetry as well to go with each one of those paintings. So sort of the end goal is maybe to write and illustrate a book that has poetry and then like imagery to go with it. But the imagery won't be like illustration, like it will be oil paintings, but like obviously a print of the oil paintings. That's my end goal. I don't know how many years it will take me. Right now I'm going very slow because I have my youngest, who's 2. And so I'm going to go fairly slow until he's in school full time. And then once he's in school, then I'm going to really crack at it. And hopefully I can get a painting out once a month. So my goals are pretty long term, but I'm working on them right now. Like I'm still painting, every single week, and it's still moving towards my collection. And then here and there, I have commissions, and then I have my day job. So
yeah, pretty busy schedule, I can say. Yeah.
Yeah. So I paint about twice a week. My husband helps me. He takes care of everybody after work on Thursdays, and I work all the way into the night. And then Saturday, Sunday, I usually paint all day as well. So, but it's not, I'd like it to be 5 days a week, 9 to 5, and paint every single day, but that's going to come for me soon. So right now I'm just living life. And in the meantime, as I'm living life, I am being inspired and getting new ideas. So, if you just spend all of your time painting, then, your art's never going to be very interesting.
Of course, you need to have some inspiration for it.
Yeah.
Chazzly, thank you so much for sharing part of your journey, how you become an artist. I think your son really impacted your artist career, and it's great to hear that you have support from your family right now, and that you are not alone in this journey, which is, I think, super important. And I'm sure sooner or later you will definitely have a artist career, and whatever that means to you, and that you can inspire other people and your community, which you already are doing. Chazzly, thank you so much for your time and for opportunity to get to know more about your artwork and about yourself. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you reaching out. I really appreciate you doing this for artists. And
thank you so much for watching us, and don't forget to click subscribe button and like this video. So thank you so much.